Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Outriders demo. I've been excited for this game. The demo is here. I've been playing it for about an hour and I wanted to give my first impressions. Now before I get into it, I just want to say I have skipped pretty much every piece of story so far because I want to play it on the full game, full release, rather than have to wait and not really remember what was going on. So I've just skipped through most of the story. What I can see though in terms of voice acting and character design and graphics looks pretty cool, because obviously I skip not straight away. I can see a couple of things. The only other thing that really bothered me as well was that the cutscenes are in 30 frames per second, which was very jarring, and I just didn't really want to watch them in 30 frames per second. So that's another reason why I skipped. I do know that a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about right now are being fixed and changed in the full game release, and 30 frames per second cutscenes is one of those things. Now, I think first and foremost, I want to talk about controls and sensitivity and stuff like that. First and foremost, when you run in this game and sprint, there is a heavy amount of motion blur, which is very sickening to play if you're not used to it. I don't mind motion blur that much, but even I was like, oh my God, this is too much. Again, this has been fixed in the full game release, but to look at the demo and first impressions, I really have to mention that it is way too much, and there better be an option to turn it off completely. And talking about options, there needs to be better sensitivity options for aiming for controller, so you can aim down sight and you can change your multiplier from 0.5 to 0.7, 0.3, however fast you want to move while aiming down sight. There's also a zoom aim down sight for things like snipers, so you can move and aim snipers faster, or have it slower so that you can have a more steady control over your aim. However, the look camera, just when you're walking around normally, is very, very fluid, very quick, very free. So if you're in the middle of a gunfight, for instance, and you're aiming down sight, shooting at someone, and you see another enemy and you want to come out of your aim down sight and look over to them, the difference between the sensitivities is insane, to the point where you'll fly off up to the right hand side if someone's over to the right, and you'll miss them or overshoot them completely. There really needs to be a way to kind of slow down the actual camera when you're looking normally without aiming down sight, and not have it be detrimentally too slow. Because for me, when it was level 3, it was too slow. When it was level 4, it was too fast. There really needs to be some refining in the looking, aiming sensitivity across the board, in my opinion, at least for controllers. I guess it's not really that big of a deal on mouse and keyboard. I also would like to see different sensitivities available for horizontal and vertical, because I don't need to look up and down as much as I'm looking left and right. So I want the up and down to be slightly less sensitive, so it's slower, so that I'm not all over the place, looking all over the place. I feel like this is something they should implement, but I have no idea whether that's actually going to be fixed or anything to do with the sensitivity whatsoever. I can get used to it, and I will get used to it because I do enjoy the game. Just little things like this on first impression is like, oh man, I wish they'd just thought about this. I wish they'd done this. Very quickly, character creation is fine. It's not super in depth, but it's also not too limited. I feel like they just need to work around the facial structure to skin tone kind of system that they have in. I should be able to pick any facial structure I want and have any skin tone I want on that facial structure, but it looks very much like, you have to have a certain facial structure to get a darker skin tone or a lighter skin tone, something more kind of like something under the guise and idea that, certain races have certain facial structures. I don't think they need that in this game. There just needs to be a free option variety to what you want to be and what you want to look like. Now, the actual gameplay and game itself, I just want to say, if you're not used to cover heavy games, this is going to be difficult for you. You need to be covering a lot, dodging a lot, and being able to use your abilities and heal quite a lot. It's a very fast-paced game, and at times, though, you will have to sit back too, because there are snipers, there are a lot of long-range enemies, but then there's also closer-range enemies. You really have to pick and choose what you're doing in each battle as you go to each battle, and those abilities are very, very useful for healing yourself. So each gunfight, each arena fight that you get into feels quite different. It feels refreshing, but then you also just need to be able to concentrate on healing as well as fighting enemies. It's a very focused game. Like, I feel like I have to really pay attention to everything that's going on. Each fight has it's like an arena style, so you're kind of locked into an area. There's lots of cover that you need to go to, etc., etc., and then there's kind of like a thing you have to do, like open a door at the end, etc., and like stronger, more boss-like enemies as you get further into that kind of arena area. That's kind of like the premise of the whole game as far as I can see right now, but it doesn't feel repetitive, it doesn't feel strained, it feels fluid, natural, it just works really well. Gunplay so far isn't spectacular, but then again, I don't have very many guns with very many mods. It's just a very basic heavy cover, you know, shooter system, you know, like Division, like Gears of War. It is just very much like that right now. I feel like once you get these super OP weapons with better stability, aiming, etc, etc, I'm saying etc a lot, this game will be a lot more comfortable in gunplay. But where this game shines right now is the abilities. The abilities are incredible and probably the main part of the game. You need to be using these often as you can, all the time, to regenerate your health, but also just do massive damage to people. I'm playing as Pyromancer, and I have a move where I set the floor on fire, and anyone in my way, it stuns them, and then I kill them and get the health back. I've got an ability called Thermal Bomb where I set them on fire, and when I kill them they explode and kill anything around them. And I also have kind of like a Scorpion Get Over Here move where I just pull someone in slightly, they turn to ash, I get a little bit of health back, and when I kill them I get a little bit more health. So you have to kind of really throw all these abilities into your gameplay whilst also shooting. It's very fun, very fast paced, it just works really well. World tiers are great. As you play and level up your world tier, the game gets harder while you're in it. If you die in your world tier, you lose a little bit of XP. It's just a very natural progression to just having the game get more, well, not really more difficult, but staying on your level of power as you're getting stronger. The game is also getting stronger, but you can also pick and choose what world tier you want to play in. So there's a lot of variety, a lot of choice there. If you want an easy time, you just want to mow down some people, test out some abilities, you can do that. If you want to have a challenge, you can turn it up a little bit and also get some extra rewards because it is a little bit higher than you. It just works. It's such a good system, and it just is perfect for me as a player who just wants to shoot things and do things and not worry too much about all the extra things and just have it happen naturally alongside what you're doing. And last but not least, I just want to talk about the world around you. Very pretty game. You know, it's not the most over-the-top graphical game in the world, but it's a very pretty looking game. It looks and feels like a real lived-in world where you actually feel a part of it. You feel immersed into the world. However, I will say this game seems to be quite linear, so you're going to find places where you feel like you should be able to go to, but you'll be blocked off by some rocks or something, and the actual linear part of the game feels very limited when you hit like kind of the edges of the wall. Like you see some rocks and you think, oh god, they look like I can climb on them, and there's something behind them, but actually that rocks that you look like you can climb over is an invisible wall. So at that point I just feel like, oh that's a bit oof, maybe climb over and let me just search a little bit of the area and then block it off or something like that. But that's just a gripe that I have. Overall though, even if it is linear, it still feels kind of expansive and that you can explore certain areas. Like when you're going through a linear section, there'll be little kind of like side paths that go off where you can harvest things, you can get collectibles. So it doesn't seem like it's 100% linear, but during this demo, it does feel quite linear. Maybe as you get through the game and do more things, the game feels more and more open as you go. Who knows? Those are just a few of the things that I've kind of noticed and wanted to pick up on. But I will say overall, so far, the experience of this game has been incredible. I am so happy for this game, and I cannot wait to do more with it. Get the full game, level up, make builds, you know, be overpowered, get all these badass guns, badass armor. The game just feels like it could be something special. Whether or not it comes to YouTube and translate into content, for me as a player, for a game that I've looked for a while, for what I want to do, to chill out on, to play on, this game is it. I'm very happy. I'm interested to see what happens in the rest of this demo. I haven't checked out any other characters yet, so I'm going to be doing that too. But I just wanted to give a kind of first impressions review for you guys. The game is incredible. If you haven't played a demo yet, play it. Do yourself a favor. Jump off any other game you're playing right now. Sit down, enjoy this game. It's amazing. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.